right? So it would take some time for everybody to come in. And I think Group A and Group B have already been introduced with myself, right? And today I have another group, which is Group C, coming in with me. And Group C, you've already known me, okay, through the DSC551 group, because we are in the same lecture session, right? So please bear with me, Group C. So you dah went through the first 2 hours. Lepas tu we have another 2 hours for ISP560. Okay, Group C. Yang ini this is the first time for your ISP560 group, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
However, okay. However, I have already started off with Group A and B earlier. In I think on Monday, and Group B is Monday, right? And Group B is yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so Group C saya tak buat introduction on 560 yet, but kalau saya buat lagi sekali for Group C, nanti dia macam it became repetitive for the both Group A and B. So I'll get straight to the point of apa tu, where we have already left off for Group A and B. Nanti esok, tomorrow, we have another lecture session with Group C. So tak apa, don't worry, sebab dia tak ada beza sangat on what we will be discussing today, right? So today is more on the introduction to machine learning, what is machine learning and all. I have given a task to look into a video for Group A and B. Tak apa, Group C, you can tag along, alright? Everybody is the same, sama juga. Cuma there's a few question and few reminder that I have already told Group A and B that I will explain to Group C tomorrow. Okay? Okay, so let's continue with what we have already left off. Okay, so today I want to discuss about machine learning. Okay, so Group A and Group B, I hope everybody have a faint idea on what machine learning is. Okay?
Yeah.
Right. Can I have someone to volunteer me just a brief understanding? Ada tak siapa-siapa yang nak volunteer, nak beritahu from what you have already looked into the video previously? Kalau saya suruh you define what is machine learning, can you try to explain to me? Boleh tak? Ada tak volunteer sebelum saya explain? Saya nak ada volunteer yang boleh explain. Umar boleh? Umar Alif.
Dia boleh, sir, dia boleh.
Boleh tak?
Jangan jahat sangat macam tu. Saya fikir balik video tu. Saya dah tengok.
Tak apa, don't worry. I just want to know your understanding. Boleh? Can you turn on the camera, Umar? Is it possible?
Sekejap saya.
Boleh, tak apa.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Salam.
Kelas kita ada seorang tak datang, kelas B, Muhammad Zikri. Dia pergi hospital. Dia inform
Okay.
saya.
Apa tu, tuliskan nama dia dekat chat tu.
Okey, baik.
Saya ada pakai application ni. Application yang saya pakai ni dia is good. Saya nak tengok macam mana mungkin kalau okey saya nak pakai je Meet ni throughout the whole semester sebab dia boleh monitor you punya presence, you keluar masuk tu saya boleh monitor. Alright, Umar,
Okay sir.
answer dah tu.
Saya baru bangun.
Okay, tak apa, don't worry.
Okay. Machine learning berdasarkan video yang saya tengok tu, dia explain about the past and the present and the future. So machine learning tu dia evolve untuk tolong and to improve sistem yang sebelum ni untuk masa akan datang. Macam yang dalam video tu dia cakap pasal Google. So bagi saya machine learning tu untuk improve sistem and teknologi.
Okay, so Umar punya point adalah machine learning improve system and technology. Okay, Umar, can you give one example?
Example.
Satu contoh.
Macam untuk sekarang AI, robotik, the teknologi baru yang berdasarkan machine language, walaupun dah ada language yang lagi mudah daripada machine language.
Okay, thank you very much. Alright, siapa lagi? Good point. Nanti saya akan ulas apa yang Umar cakap. Tapi sebelum saya ulas, saya nak dengar orang lain dulu. Okay, Amirul. Yes.
Machine learning, what I understood from the video.
Amirul, can you turn on your camera? Boleh tak? Is it possible?
Sure. There's setting error here. Camera fail. I don't know why.
Okay. Tak apa. Kalau fail, teruskan. So,
machine learning basically, if human learn from the past experience, machines which learn from past data.
Okay, good.
Since nowadays we have abundant amount of data, machine learning has been made possible by that data. They use it to learn from the data. And machine learning is used in many fields such as speech recognition, face recognition, or fraud detection, etc. That's all.
Okay. Alright. You have given good examples, speech recognition, facial recognition, and fraud data, right? Okay. Katalah saya ambil salah satu daripada example yang you bagi tu, kan? Facial recognition, alright? Everybody is familiar with facial recognition, right? Thank you, Amirul Hafiz, alright, for the explanation. Okay, can anybody help me? Kalau saya ambil contoh facial recognition tu, can anybody help me to relate with machine learning? Ada tak siapa-siapa? Can I have anybody that can volunteer relate machine learning dengan facial recognition? How facial recognition is made possible by machine learning?
Saya volunteer jawab.
Okay, boleh? Haikal, thank you very much. Yes, teruskan. Kamera boleh on? Okay, good.
Macam dalam video tu cakap, diorang check pixel by pixel untuk cari pattern.
Okay.
And then from the collection of pixels, contoh kalau dia recognize ada cake and then ada budak, and then dia macam conclude yang tu adalah birthday parties. So dia boleh masuk ke dalam search punya ni lah.
Alright, thank you very much. Thank you, Haikal. Okay, so you have a faint idea on three different students that have already volunteered. Thank you very much, Umar. Thank you very much, Haikal and Amir Hafiz. Okay. Okay, so kita balik pada awal-awal tadi tu. Umar kata machine learning is about machine language and robots. Betul tak? Okay. First of all, it's very common for people to relate machine learning and robot. Common. Sebab itu yang paling paling mudah untuk kita relate lah. Yes, betul. I agree with you. If we want a robot to perform flawlessly, we could have machine learning embedded in the robots. But not necessarily a robot must have machine learning capabilities. Yang itu you kena understand. Okay, saya ulang balik Maknanya apa yang saya maksudkan tadi tu, what I try to convey that if you build a robot, a simple robot, right? For example, so a robot can move in forward direction, backward direction, left and right, kan? That's basic movement. But it is not necessarily for the robot to have a machine learning capability in order to be operable. Maknanya robot tu dia nak function, dia tak perlukan pun machine learning. Nampak tak? Okay, but if the robot needs to, how do I say it, interact with the environment, okay, the robot wants to interact with the environment, it must have a machine learning capability. Contohnya macam mana robot tu dia nak avoid collision, dia avoid obstacle. Okay, how does the robot understand a pathway? So dia perlukan machine learning. Tapi kalau untuk bergerak saja tak perlu. Ataupun untuk create a repetitive task, the robot doesn't need to have a machine learning capability. Okay, that's one thing. Maknanya robot need not necessarily be associated with machine learning. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, the second thing is that AI is not always about robots. Betul tak? You dah some of you is in already in the course, you all part 4 kan? Betul tak?
Part 4.
Betul saya.
Kan, you dah belajar sebelum ni introduction to AI, right?
Sudah.
Yes.
So by now you should understand that AI need not necessarily be associated with robot. Itu bukan berkisah hal tentang robot saja. Dia adalah lebih daripada itu. Okay, is something like embedded intelligence, right? So contohnya macam you ada laptop. Laptop you adalah komputer kan? Betul tak? So anything that has computer in it, you can put intelligence. Maknanya laptop you boleh jadi laptop yang intelligent. Macam mana? How does an intelligent laptop works? It should be able to identify its owner. Atau you on laptop you, kan, tak payah key in password, dia dah tengok, recognize your face,
Dia bagi salam.
dia bagi you access. Okay? Macam mana pula kalau ada orang print muka you? Dia print muka you besar-besar kan, lepas tu dia nak on komputer tu, dia pegang gambar you, gambar muka you. Adakah laptop tu akan bagi access walaupun dia nampak muka you printed? Tak. If
Kalau gambar dia 3D.
yes, if it's an intelligent system enough to understand that the image is a printed image and a real person, dia boleh bezakan lah. Okay, macam mana nak bezakan tu adalah machine learning algorithm, right? How about high security punya system, kan, contohnya
Retina scanner.
kalau you tengok movie Hollywood tu kan, dia contohnya dia nak masuk dekat access punya area, selalu pakai thumbprint, orang tu kena bunuh, tangan kena potong, lepas tu dia gunakan thumbprint orang tu untuk masuk that area. Betul tak? Pernah tengok movie macam tu?
Mission Impossible.
Okay, so an intelligent system would know whether that particular person is alive or not.
Wish. Mantap.
Betul tak? Betul tak? Macam ni nak tahu orang tu hidup tak?
Ikut suhu dia.
Banyak.
Suhu.
Yes, they
classification.
besides from biometric identification, you can have more than that. You can put up some sort of temperature check. Alright, heat sensor. Yes, good. Okay, so that is apa tu, machine intelligence or machine learning capability, right? Tapi dia tak sampai tu lagi. Dia masih lagi di peringkat macam simple AI. AI is diverse, alright? Dia banyak. Tapi machine learning, okay, saya suka tadi siapa cakap tadi, Hafiz kan, yang cakap pass data, right?
Yes.
Siapa yang cakap pass data ni?
Saya
Amirul Hafiz, dia cakap pasal pass data. Right, so kita nak relatekan pula satu contoh you. Okay, one of your example is face recognition. Okay, how face recognition has something to do with machine learning? Okay, before your devices ataupun your embedded computer, saya pakai embedded computer. Before your embedded computer, okay, kalau rupa je maybe tak boleh. Okay, kita tengok. I'm trying to explain. Right, kita nak relate dengan pass data, kan? Tak? Nak relate dengan pass data. Right. Apa itu pass data untuk facial recognition? Okay, pass data untuk facial recognition adalah gambar-gambar you, all the images, right? All your okay, all your images in different position. Okay, it can be macam kalau tengok muka saya ni, saya daripada side, daripada tepi, daripada atas. What happens kalau tertutup, ada kertas partial macam ni, dia boleh recognize. Kalau macam kalau kawan you dah kenal for 4 years contohnya, kan, daripada jauh lagi kecil je tapi you kenal kan dia, right? Can you recognize them from far away? Kan?
Boleh.
Rapat-rapat kan, you tengok body language dia, you tengok how dia punya fashion preferences, you tengok how they walk, or you probably recognize their hairstyle. So some of you may recognize them from even far away. However, still you can make some sort of mistake lah, betul tak? Kenapa you boleh buat mistake? Sebab because of similarities. Ada orang ada doppelganger kan, betul tak? Ada orang muka dia serupa. Saya dengan orang lain, mungkin ada orang yang lain pun muka dia serupa macam saya. So it's sama jugalah, sistem pun boleh ada kelemahan yang sama. Okay, whatever a mistake that you can do, the machine learning can also make the same mistake. Kenapa? Because it relies on past data. Kalau past data itu salah, dia punya current punya, present punya instances to make decision will also have an error, some sort of an error lah. Okay, so cumanya the precision between human and machine learning will have a more accurate recognition. Maknanya the probability of making mistake is lesser than a human lah. Okay, ada kawan you tanya, kalau tengok mata still facial recognition ke iris recognition? Kalau tengok mata is iris recognition. Okay, your iris ni dia macam fingerprint. Kita panggil all that as a biometric identification. Biometric identification ni dia luas. Maksudnya facial recognition is part of biometric identification. Thumbprint is biometric identification. Your iris is biometric identification. Even your tongue pun dia ada pattern ni pun biometric identification you. But the most unique one would be your DNA lah. Okay, Your DNA is the most unique one. Okay, cumanya DNA ni dia nak proses dia lambat. Kalau you tengok dekat movie tu kan, in the movies where apa tu dalam CSI tu dia dapat darah, titik darah, lepas tu dia hantar dekat lab, esoknya tu dia pergi kat lab terus dapat result kan. No. Kalau DNA
Proses lama.
yes, proses dia lama sebab kalau sebenarnya boleh percepatkan proses tu, tapi nanti dia punya result dia tak berapa accurate sebab dia ada acidic compound that reacts to the DNA samples that was brought up to, and then the amount of DNA sample to be tested pun dia ada amount dia lah. Kalau terlalu sikit pun residue is not enough to be concluded with the result given, right? So dia ada amount of DNA yang diperlukan untuk dia generate a good test result, right? So sebab tu you tak pernah nampak lagi DNA as a biometric identification because dia punya proses untuk dapatkan DNA result tu it cost around 2 weeks for one result. Okay, so kalau you nak buat access punya recognition kan, nak masuk pintu, nak buka pintu guna DNA 2 minggu boleh masuk, right? Which is not effective, right? So that's the reason why it hasn't been available yet, right? So they have yet to find out macam mana nak dapat result DNA yang lebih cepat dan accurate. Yes, voice recognition is also part of biometric identification. Okay, so maknanya kalau you nak buat security punya accessibility, it can be a combination of several biometric identification. Identify muka, identify suara, identify iris. So the combination of the three would give a more secured punya accessibility lah. So that's one thing. So in order to do that, you need machine learning, alright? So you perlukan past data, and then from the past data, the system or the program will try to understand the pattern that you have and try to recognize that pattern. Maknanya selain daripada tu, dia akan identify as somebody else lah. So apa yang the system does is it remembers the user. So it doesn't have to remember everybody else. Dia remember yang that particular user. Maknanya kalau if anything is different, then automatically it's not the user. Okay, that is how machine learning works. Okay. Itu yang paling mudah. Alright, but the application of machine learning is more than that. Okay, it's as long as you have past data and that particular data have some sort of patterns. Saya nampak tadi ada kawan you tulis pasal pattern kan. YouTube algorithm, your browsing browsing preferences. Okay, yes, YouTube algorithm uses machine learning. Kenapa dia gunakan the advertisement is based on your browsing pattern. Kalau you even now Facebook owns WhatsApp and Instagram kan. So whatever that you are conversing with your friends ataupun in a WhatsApp group, probably the advertisement that will pop up if you go to your social media account, it will show the product that is related to whatever that you are discussing with your friends. So, currently banyak Shopee dengan Lazada kan because they did a paid punya advertisement. So sometimes yang itu result dia tak berapa accurate sangat. Macam but it will try to find the relevance of your everyday punya communication, your everyday punya conversation, or even your location. Kalau dia tak dapat preference you daripada segi teks, dia akan find daripada segi you punya demographic information. Dia tahu umur you berapa, ataupun dia boleh predict. Kalau dia tak tahu pun umur you berapa, dia just assume je from your conversation ke, from your browsing pattern, or from your you will always leave your digital trail. Alright, so everybody have a digital trail now. You all have WhatsApp. Almost all of you have your social media, and even kalau macam orang yang muda-muda macam you all ni, you are very active in the social media, kan? So all that are data. They gather all that and they will try to understand your preferences. So that's the reason why iklan-iklan yang keluar semasa you gunakan social media tu is usually of relevance to your preferences. Okay. So apa yang kita akan belajar? What we will learn through the whole semester would be some of the algorithm that enables the possibility of facial recognition, voice recognition. Kita akan buat several example, alright? I can show you later. There are some good example of machine learning to recognize faces, some good example machine learning to recognize text, numbers, right? Or probably they have done an extensive research. You all pernah dengar pasal Boston Dynamics tak?
Yang robot tu.
Macam
Kan? Okay. Kalau you nak relate machine learning with robot, tengok Boston Dynamics. Yang Boston Dynamics tu robot dia ada machine learning capability. Robot dia boleh is bipedal. Dia ada dua jenis robot. Satu adalah yang macam anjing, dia ada 4 kaki. And then another one is bipedal, dia macam manusia lah, ada 2 kaki. Robot dia boleh selalunya movement robot ni dia tak macam manusia tau. Dia memang the design of the robot itself will let the robot stands up. Maknanya kaki dia besar ke, bentuk kotak, ataupun dia tak terlalu tinggi. Okay, but then Boston Dynamics has created a robot that is almost equivalent to a human, and the robot can actually do a backflip. Go look it up. Tengok, cari Boston Dynamics. I think they have a new video coming up, and Boston Dynamics have a very advanced technology because they have DARPA funding them, the military punya funding. So that's the reason why Boston Dynamics is very successful lah. Maksudnya dia duit banyak, senang cerita. All the resources yang dia nak, dia boleh dapatkan, and all the people and the experts in the field is gathered in one place, and that's the reason they can be a very successful entity. Right? But it is very interesting. You should look it up, right? So robot dia lain daripada yang lain. Maknanya kalau kita tolak dia boleh bangun, ataupun dia cuba untuk tak jatuh. So sama macam manusia. So all that are actually gathered from past data, right? So dia boleh cuba untuk try to react with the environment based on how it can learn. Okay, saya bagi contoh. Saya bagi contoh untuk bipedal ni, robot ni. dengan manusia. Okay, bila manusia lahir dalam dunia ni, kan, adakah dia terus boleh berjalan?
Tak.
Tak, right.
Ah,
So, bila dia boleh berjalan?
Selepas
Selepas
setahun, 2 tahun bertatih.
Selepas beberapa bulan, ataupun selepas tahun, ataupun selepas you need some sort of progression, right? Progression with the physical capabilities that you have. Sama juga robot, dia ada physical capability, dan the robot needs to learn how to walk and all, alright? So cumanya robot ni kita boleh replicate lah, dia punya learning pattern tu we can replicate. Tapi human we cannot. Every human must go through the same processes, right? Learning processes maknanya kalau ada orang yang baru lahir, you tak boleh ambil knowledge daripada orang yang sebelum ni masukkan ke orang yang baru lahir, dia terus boleh berjalan. No, tak boleh. Tapi robot, yes, we can do that. And robot, we can create the robot with the correct physical capabilities to let it be able to walk. Alright? Tapi kalau manusia ni tak boleh. Manusia, dia kena go through the process of learning on how to walk. Mula lahir, badan tak kuat lagi, dia tak boleh buat apa-apa. Dia duduk di satu tempat. Lepas tu, as our physical ability becomes better and better, stronger, kan, stronger bones, you have muscles is building up, and it comes with the learning with the environment. Maknanya baby tu belajar untuk terbalikkan badan dia dulu, lepas tu belajar untuk merangkak, daripada merangkak baru dia belajar untuk berdiri first, and then it will try to take its first baby steps and later turns to walking and running, kan. Everybody goes through the same experience, and those experience are actually past data. Okay, and this learning pattern can be disrupted sebenarnya. Did you know, macam contohnya macam orang yang ada penyakit yang contohnya kena stroke, for example. Dia kena stroke, almost half of the body function does not work. Pernah dengar orang kena sakit stroke?
Pernah.
Kena stroke, tak boleh, sebelah badan tak function. In order for that patient to be able to recover, they have to go through therapy. Okay, dia kena pergi occupational therapy. So dia kena belajar balik semula. Belajar macam mana nak angkat tangan dia, macam mana nak gerakkan dia punya muscles, to train back dia punya brain. Sebab stroke is affect your brain. So some part of your brain tu dia damage, menyebabkan badan you tak boleh bergerak. So you have to go through rehab, belajar balik semula. So the brain needs to create a new understanding on how to move your limbs. Limbs you mungkin tak ada masalah, tapi sebab signal daripada otak tu dia tak boleh nak hantar kepada you punya tangan dan juga kaki. So that's why you cannot move your limbs. Right? Okay, any question before I let you rest for a few minutes?
No question, sir.
Nampak you can see the basics of what machine learning can actually do. Kita tak pergi lagi kepada how to create machine learning. Kita fahamkan dia punya application sahaja dulu.
Faham.
Okay, so kita berehat sekejap, sebab kita dah almost an hour. Alright. The focus span for a normal human would be around 30 minutes. Lebih 30 minit je you dah because you dah tak apa-apa sangat. So I let you rest for 10 minutes. Nak pergilah minum air ke sekejap. Okay. So saya akan sambung balik pukul 11:05. Alright?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
We can't manage work like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I want to share with you one of the. So, I want to share with you this particular book. Alright. Saya cari je.
Cam. It's a plugin for free that you can go to a cam into target my face. Going to change your source from your webcam to the OBS camera. And that's it. So let's see you in the next.
Saya share dekat. Saya share kat sini ya. Dekat group pun saya share juga. Alright, so sekejap saya present hantai into window tab. This one. Tak habis lagi, tak habis load. Slow sangat. Lambat pula dia nak load. Dia boleh buka tak?
Boleh.
Boleh.
Mine is a bit slow. Okay, dah buka dah. Alright, so the book is like this, right? Saya rasa it is available in the bookstore, right? I suggest you to buy the book, alright? And you can use the digital version first, okay? But if you find the book of beneficial to you, I would really suggest you to buy the book lah. Alright, so saya ada dia punya hard copy dia book. Saya ada beli. And it's a very good book. Right? Okay, so dalam buku ni dia ada macam-macam. Macam-macam AI punya technique and algorithms. Alright, but I want you to go straight to chapter 6, which is neural network. This one. Okay, artificial neural networks. Alright, so your next task is to read. Saya nak you baca 6.1 introduction on how the brain works. Okay, lepas tu dia ada beritahu dekat sini what is machine learning in general. So dia ada banyak. There's a lot of definition of machine learning. You can Google up define machine learning. Kat Google kan, define machine learning ada macam-macam definition. Kalau saya bacakan dekat Google ni, the use of development of computer system that are able to learn and adapt without following explicit instruction by using algorithm and statistical methods or models to analyze and draw inference from patterns in data. Itu adalah definition daripada Google lah. However, it is a bit different here, right? But basically, it has the same gist and idea on what machine learning is, right? Apa itu machine learning? It will involve past data, adaptive mechanism, right? And apa tu? Algorithms, statistical model, right? Drawing inferences. So that are the most used keyword in the definition of machine learning. Right, when you went through the semester later, you should have your own definition on machine learning. Okay, you akan ada you punya own interpretation of what is machine learning is all about. Okay, lepas tu saya nak you baca lagi seterusnya neural network. So kita akan go through neural network. Machine learning dia ada banyak. Nanti saya akan share different type of machine learning algorithm. But one of the common one is neural network. Okay. So apa tu neural network? Baca ini. It starts daripada biological neural network. Okay, kena baca biological neural network ada apa, ada soma, synapses, axon, apa tu axon. So you will have to read that. And then baru dia introduce kepada what is artificial neural network. Neural network itself is a biological neural network. From there, we try to mimic the process by creating our own artificial neural network. So artificial neural network is actually an algorithm, a mathematical model which tries to mimic how a biological neural network works. Right, so dia ada table ni, analogi dia biological neural network dengan artificial neural network. Okay, baca sampai sini, habis ni. But does the neural network know how to adjust the weight? Sampai sini je. Okay, so your next task is to read this passage, one page, second page, and the third one. Alright. So basically what we are going to learn nanti is to create a neural network. Okay, just to give you a brief understanding on how a neural network works. So basically neural network is a model ataupun program lah, senang cerita. It's a computer program. Kalau neural network itself is not a computer program tau, dia adalah algorithm. Maknanya it's a theory, right? It's a theory, tapi bila kita implementkan teori tu, dia jadilah program. Implementkan dalam bentuk programming. We use tools as a programming language to create the model. Okay, so dia jadi program. So program ni dia macam how the brain works would be the same as how a neural network model will work, right? It will require an input. Sebelum you buat decision kan, contohnya macam kita ambil balik contoh yang mudah tu, facial recognition contohnya. So in order for facial recognition to work, you need an input lah, right? Betul tak?
Betul.
Guys, so input dia apa?
Input
Your face.
Yes, face tu dalam bentuk apa? Face
Video.
dalam bentuk video, dalam bentuk
Images.
gambar kan? Most probably as images, right? Video yang you nampak video saya ni is actually a collection of images, right? A collection of images, dia susun jadi video, right? Cumanya video sekarang ni is a live video lah. mungkin dia ada sela masa of a microsecond untuk sampai ke you bila saya cakap ke, ada delay sikit. Maknanya dia rekod gambar saya dan suara saya, lepas tu baru lambat probably 1 or 2 second baru you dengar selepas saya cakap. Alright, so itu adalah input. Input dia adalah image. Okay, lepas tu dia proses lah, do the processing. Kita akan belajar dia punya processing. How to process the image. So lepas proses kita buat apa?
Display.
Kita
Display.
explain.
Display saya.
Display apa?
Kita dah scan image, kita akan display image balik kan.
Display video balik. Okay. Sebenarnya the video itself is the input. Kita nak buat apa? Kita nak buat facial recognition, right? Betul tak? So the output would be
data
lagi. Anybody else? Pattern lagi? Orang lain lagi?
Identify who is that person.
Okay, good. Identifying the person is okay. Sebab kita nak buat recognition ni. So video tu input dia image apa? Image orang. Dia muka, right? Selepas tu kita proses. Okay, again, you will learn the processing, the model on how to process in order to identify the person in the image. Output dia adalah siapa orang itu. Adakah orang itu orang yang dikenali ataupun orang yang tak dikenali. Faham tak? So, facial recognition creates a profile. Sama macam you all. Ada yang orang yang you kenal, ada orang yang you tak kenal. Orang yang you tak kenal tu, you tak create lagi profile dia. Okay, because you haven't meet and understand who is that particular person. Dan some people have problems. Especially me, kalau saya jumpa orang kan, walaupun saya dah nampak muka orang tu, I introduce myself, my name is Razif and all. Orang tu pun introduce nama dia Rosli ke, for example. I usually have a problem associating the face with the name. Mungkin dah beberapa kali kan jumpa, baru kita akan ingat lah. So probably machine learning works the same way. Okay, cumanya dia lebih efficient lah. You ada beberapa gambar je, dia dah tahu dah siapa orang tu. Okay, dia dah create that particular profile. Even kalau smartphone yang sekarang ni kan, everybody have own a smartphone, right? You all lagi dah canggih handphone you. Kalau you ambil gambar kan, ambil gambar selfie ke, you take photos with your friends, you take photos with your family, and the image gallery usually will be able to identify your faces. Walaupun dia tak tahu nama lagi kan, dia dah tahu dah, this is the face of the owner, and then when you click at that face, dia boleh cari lagi gambar lain yang ada you in the image. Ada tak?
Ada. iPhone ada.
Kan? So that is actually facial recognition. Maknanya dia tak perlu tahu pun. It doesn't have to know your name, but it should be able to understand that yes, it tries to filter similar face into one folder, right? So that is actually facial recognition. So it makes your life easier. So let's say kalau you nak cari gambar mak you ke, contohnya for example, in a certain occasion, you tak nak go through the whole photo gallery kan. So gambar you mungkin ada puluh ribu. So kalau you nak go through all the videos and images in the same folder, it will take you some time for you to browse through. So kalau you boleh pilih a specific person, if you try to look into that lah. Maknanya kalau hari you nak cari gambar, you pergi ke Langkawi. Dekat Langkawi tu ada siapa? You dengan abang you ke, you dengan kakak you, or you with your family. So you choose that instead of you choosing your own picture, you choose the person that goes with you. That is one thing. Another thing is based on location. Okay, sometimes I tend to turn off my location tag. But sometimes ada orang dia tak off dia punya location tag. Location tag tu itu bahaya sikit because when you take a snapshot of an image at a particular place, kalau you on you punya location geotag, you can know, boleh buku hard copy tu boleh beli dekat kalau tak silap saya dulu ada jual dekat koperasi. Dekat sekarang ni I think you can buy it online. Okay, or you can try finding second hand punya book pun boleh, I think. Dia buku dia hardcover. Okay. Okay, where am I tadi? Face punya filter tu kan. Okay, so another thing is geotag. Geotag, kalau let's say you take a photo in one area kan, ataupun you like to take selfie, especially all the girls suka selfie kan.
Betul.
You selfie, lepas tu sebenarnya kalau if I have access to all your photos with geotag, I can know your pattern. Berapa you selalu ada kat certain tempat. So I can create profiling, okay, where if I have your photo with the geotag embedded, alright, I can search for a pattern where usually what are the frequent places that you always go and at what time. Especially kalau orang yang selfie addict ni lah, di mana semua nak selfie kan. Setiap hari pergi McD selfie, and then you went to that place over and over again within the same range of time throughout a span of several months. So a program would be able to predict lah. Maknanya kalau orang tu nak stalk you, dia boleh tahu you kat mana, dia boleh sometimes it's not necessarily have to be precise, but a faint information on your whereabouts is also a bit dangerous to be exposed lah. Maknanya orang tu dia boleh, kalau you pun tak pergi ke tempat yang sama pada masa yang spesifik, dia boleh tunggu dekat situ for several days and definitely they will catch up to you, right? Kalau dia nak cari you lah, because especially people yang aktif social media, definitely you will leave your digital footprint, right? Tapi if you have nothing to hide, tak payahlah takut sangat nak guna social media. Social media can be very beneficial, right? So it can be a source of information, okay? Although rumors are very easy to spread with the use of social media. Social media ni macam double-edged sword lah. Have you read there's a good book, nama buku tu adalah Gift of Fire. Let me check. Pernah dengar Gift of Fire?
Tak.
Tak pernah sir.
Ini saya
Gift
of Fire,
ethical issue.
yes, that one. Okay, Gift of Fire ni kan, dia actually tries to depict that computing technology is the same of same as fire. Dia macam api. Api ni kita boleh jadikan dia sebagai tool kan. It's a tool, right? Fire is a tool. You can use fire to light up your house. You can use it for cooking. Even combustion punya ni application process menyebabkan you boleh bawa kereta, boleh kapal terbang, boleh terbang kan. So that is a gift of fire. But if you abuse the gift of fire, kan, it can be very harmful. It can be a weapon, okay. It can be harmful to you kalau contohnya you pakai gas api kat dapur you tak tutup kan, contohnya negligence, it can be harmful to you. So that is the gift of fire. Nak link sekejap yang ini saya tak ada digital copy dia, but I'm sure you can get around. Sama je lah, macam AI teknologi ni is a gift of fire. Macam social media, you can use it to your own benefit, right? Kalau you pandai build up your social media, it's about networking. You connect with the right people. You can build up your repo, right? So that it lets people connect with you. Maknanya, do you know that ada case yang macam orang yang minta kerja kan? They went to a job interview, but then before going to job interview, they groom dia punya social media. Maksudnya, usually nowadays, if you went through job hunting, when you apply for job listings ke, some of the officer yang akan pilih you tu, dia akan go and went to see your social media account first, right? If it is public lah. So kalau if you can make use of that advantage, yang maknanya again lah, it takes years for you to groom your social media account. Maknanya you make it so you make it open and shows that you are professional lah. Maknanya even though when you use social media extensively, you may tend to share some of your private life, tetapi if you know how to use it correctly, some of the things you won't be sharing it publicly, and some of the things yang you rasa boleh bagi benefit kepada how people give an impression towards you. Maknanya kalau orang buka je profile you secara public, orang this person is legit. This person is somebody yang memang wujud dan aktif, dan dia bukan orang yang is a serious person, right? Gambar you pun gambar orang. Not necessarily kena pakai quote kan, jadi you punya profile picture, no. It can be a casual one, alright, but the content shows you are a sane person lah. Maknanya you tak share benda yang mengarut, share something useful, you actively contohnya kalau I'll give you one example. You like hiking, for example. So dalam social media you ada pergi join groups hiking yang very competitive. Dia you engage dengan community secara positif. It shows you a good professional person, right? Sometimes ada company yang dia memang dia nak tengok you punya non-technical side. Okay, mungkin kalau macam technicality about your knowledge on the your expertise on some areas tu, dia boleh tanya during the interview. Tapi when they want to know you better, kan, dia nak tengok you, yang you someone yang interesting or not, they will look at your social media and there will be some sort of weightage. Right? Saya bagi contoh. Kalau saya sebagai orang yang nak hire any of you, kan, and then I have 2 candidate. Saya ada 2 candidate yang saya rasa suit for the job. Ini during the interview session tu saya rasa candidate ni ada knowledge, both candidate have knowledge, both candidate are able to do the task that I'm going to give later. So I'm going to choose. Caranya adalah kita nak tengok dia punya social background dia. Tengoklah dia punya social media yang 2 orang ni. So mungkin satu tu dia easy going, dekat ada nampak dia pergi there's socializing with people, going out ataupun join events, kan, ada nampak pun you punya life tu tak terlalu fokus on work, but then it's not that cluttered. Dia tak adalah macam setiap sejam you update Facebook setiap sejam you update your Twitter, kan. Itu maknanya orang yang addict, social media addict. Okay, and then another person mungkin not so much, alright, mungkin dia share benda-benda yang terlalu personal, or maybe how they communicate is not very professional, suka marah-marah, suka bergaduh dekat social media, kan. So it shows you who you are. Alright, so again, yang ni a bit of an advice lah on how to actually use social media wisely. Bukannya kita just buang je dekat tepi. Okay. Alright, so moving on, again I want you to read that, and then in our next class I think we would immediately will start with, maknanya next week lah. Next week kita boleh start dekat Perceptron. Okay, dekat buku yang Netgavitsky ni, kan, kalau you pergi lagi dekat contoh yang seterusnya, sebelum saya explain, kalau you nak baca pun boleh, kan? Cumanya kalau you baca sendiri nanti you tak faham sangat lah. But you can have a read kalau you nak tengok. Okay, the neuron as a simple computing element, sama juga macam apa yang saya cakap tadi, macam contoh facial recognition. The machine learning model, in this case neural network, needs an input. Dia perlukan input. So input yang contoh yang saya bagi tu adalah image, right? So image as an input masuk ke dalam neural network, and the neural network will do some sort of processing and produce an output. Okay, tetapi it's not as simple as that. Yang itu adalah penerangan untuk to let you understand how neural network works in a layman terms, alright? But usually a model or an algorithm works mathematically. Dia adalah mathematical model. So how can an image be processed using a mathematical model? Okay, all of you may have experience taking an image or taking a picture of your friends or you yourself, ataupun ada yang tak suka ambil gambar diri sendiri, dia ambil gambar of a scenery. And all these are actually informations, right? So data, kan, image tu adalah data. And if you open up images, kan, images ni consist of what? Can anybody tell me? Image ni apa sebenarnya?
Pixels.
Pixels value, right? So it's a two-dimensional value, dia ada location of width and height, right? Selalunya width dan height ni kita define dia sebagai x and y lah, x and y position. You ada belajar kan matematik sebelum ni kan?
Ada.
Okay, and each of the location of the pixels contains value. Betul tak? Dia contain value apa dalam pixel tu?
Color.
RGB.
Color coordinate.
Yes. The coordinate is the location of the pixel. Okay, contohnya pixel tu, kalau pixel yang pertama 0, 0. Pixel dekat top left. The top left corner of the pixel is 0, 0. As the pixels comes down, the value of the y increases. Selalunya kalau kita belajar, bila value tu kita ke bawah dia negatif kan. Tapi dalam image punya creation, the value will increase kalau dia ke bawah as the pixel goes down. Sebab dia start daripada atas. Lepas tu dia ke bawah. So that's why kalau you punya PC you slow kan, dia image tu dia load daripada atas ke bawah kan. Boleh nampak kan? Okay, so that's why as the pixels comes down, the vertical value increases. Right? So each of the pixels contains RGB value depending on the format of the image. Kalau RGB, dia simpan nilai red, green and blue. And the value can be in hexadecimal lah. Selalunya dia simpan dalam bentuk hexadecimal. Ataupun dia boleh juga simpan dalam bentuk integer. Right? Again, depending on the format of the image. So all these are values, numbers. Dia jadi gambar saya ni adalah value yang mana this value can be converted into a mathematical model and processed in a neural network algorithm. Sebab tu kita boleh proses. Sebab gambar ni adalah value. Sama juga dengan video. Video is a collection of images. Sama juga bila collection of images, in the end dia akan jadi values. So value ni yang kita akan hantar sebagai input kepada machine learning model. And again, machine learning model would be able to classify. So classification ni selalunya boolean sajalah. Contohnya, yes, metric nanti I will, is good. Nurul Husna metric, nanti I will get to that later, right? Dekat sekolah you ada belajar kan metric. So get back to that later. And macam mana dia nak buat classification? Classification dia adalah depending on the model itself. Bila kita create model tu, kita nak classify apa? Bila kita nak classify apa, kita kena statekan, okay, dia nak kenal seorang saja. So apa dia satu je lah. Maksudnya kalau saya nampak, kalau application tu nampak muka saya dan saya train that particular application to recognize my face, so bila dia nampak je muka saya, dia jadi true. Selain daripada muka saya, dia jadi false. Okay? So basically dia macam itu. So we will learn to do that later. But before we go to facial recognition, kita kena belajar dia punya fundamental technique first. So next week, yang kelas C saya tak explain lagi about scheme of work. So in our next class, kita akan bincang scheme of work tomorrow. Untuk yang kelas lain, next week kita termasuk kelas C juga, next week kita akan cover the fundamental of a neural network. Apa dia punya jargon dia, what is a neuron, what is weight, what is bias, what is threshold value, what is alpha, which is alpha is a learning rate parameter. So kita akan belajar pasal tu next week. Okay, tapi kalau you nak go through, you can go through the NetBeatsky book. first, so that when I explain, you should have a better pace at understanding my explanation. Alright? Okay, ada soalan sebelum saya nak habiskan kelas kita? Saya pun dah penat daripada pagi tadi, daripada pukul 8 dengan kelas C tadi. Dia cakap sampai pukul 12, 4 jam. Okay? Tak ada
Tak ada saya, tak ada.
Rasanya tu.
Okay,
Okay, Mesh. Kamarul ada tanya, you mention learning rate. Okay, is that related to gradient descent? Okay, ini pun nanti saya akan explain juga. Okay, learning, just to quickly answer you. Okay, yes, it is related to gradient descent, but it is a totally different thing. Gradient descent is one thing, learning rate is another thing. Learning rate is the parameter that we use to train our neural network later. The higher the learning rate, the faster the network will learn. But normally we will use a very low learning rate. Kenapa kita pakai low learning rate? Because we need our network to be stable. Apa maksudnya stable? Nanti kita akan bincang next week. Senang cerita, kalau saya bagi layman term, kalau you belajar terlalu laju, you akan cepat lupa. Tapi kalau kita sikit-sikit kan, kita go through one by one slowly, it is of a higher probability that you will remember the processes accurately. Maksudnya kalau kita go through one by one, pelan-pelan, lagi tinggi probability untuk you ingat, dengan kalau saya bagi you information dengan cara yang cepat, so you forget easily. Another easy example is memory game. Siapa pernah main memory game?
Nah, saya.
Kan? So memory game tu dia ada banyak card kan? There's a lot of card, tapi all the card is flip backward. Lepas tu when the game start, you can take a peek. You boleh tengok semua card tu. Dia tunjuk, dia show all the card. Lepas tu you try to memorize lah the location of the card. Ada duplicate. So your task is to find the duplicate card. The faster you find the duplicate card, your points will be higher lah. So kalau dia tunjuk card tu lama kan, maknanya card tu dia bagi masa untuk you tengok, you can remember some of the card. And you won't have any problem memorizing more than 5 card. Definitely, right? Sebab you tengok lama kan. Tapi kalau dia flip card tu sekejap je, dia bagi you masa dalam few second, lepas tu dia tutup balik card tu. Because it is very fast, kan? You don't have time to memorize, kan? Betul tak? So it's the same thing. Okay, same thing with a neural network. So if you spend more time training, maknanya kalau learning rate dia rendah, you will spend more time. Dia lambat proses learning dia. So you will learn better. Alright? Basically macam tu lah. Okay? Orang lain ada lagi soalan?
Tak ada sir.
Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for coming. I have your attendance with me. Nanti saya akan sharekan all the attendance lah. Okay, cumanya kalau siapa yang ada keluar masuk tu, I assume you have an internet problem, right? Yang hari ni kita just bincang je, so saya tak record. However, when I'm explaining about a more complex algorithm, I will definitely record for you. Okay? So yang hari ni punya saya tak record. Alright, thank you very much. So I'll see you tomorrow for group C, and the rest I will see you all next week. Okay? Thank you for coming. Kalau boleh saya nak macam ini. I got a very full ramai yang join, and I'll see you next week. Okay, goodbye.
Alright,
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
saya.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.